Today, the world knows him as Iron Man. But his real story? Honestly, it's way more dramatic than any superhero movie ever made. This is the story of Robert Downey Jr., a man who tasted fame, lost absolutely everything, and pulled off one of the greatest comebacks in Hollywood history. Robert Downey Jr. was born on April 4, 1965, in New York City. For him, acting wasn't some distant dream, it was just life. His father was a filmmaker, and Robert basically grew up surrounded by cameras, scripts, and movie sets. By the time he was 5 years old, he had already appeared on screen. Lights, camera, action. That world, it felt completely normal to him. But behind that creative, artistic childhood, there was something darker. Something most people never really talk about. Very few people realize that Robert Downey Jr. was exposed to drugs at a very young age. His father struggled with substance abuse, and tragically, that environment slowly began shaping Robert's life. By the time he hit his teenage years, addiction had already taken hold. A battle had begun, one that would nearly destroy everything. And yet, talent has a funny way of shining through chaos. In the 1980s, Robert Downey Jr. started rising fast in Hollywood. His acting style? Different, natural, charismatic, magnetic. He had the kind of presence you just couldn't ignore. Then came 1992, the film Chaplin. Robert's transformation into Charlie Chaplin was nothing short of extraordinary. Critics were blown away. Audiences were amazed. Hollywood took serious notice. He even earned an Academy Award nomination. At that moment, he wasn't just another promising actor. He was a star. But success doesn't always quiet inner demons. Sometimes, it actually makes them louder. By the late 1990s, addiction had tightened its grip. Arrests, court cases, rehab, over and over again. Headlines replaced praise, roles started disappearing, studios lost trust. Robert Downey Jr. became known not for his brilliance, but for his instability. Think about that for a second. An Oscar-nominated actor, unable to find work. A career many people believed was finished. For most actors, that would have been the end of the story. But for Robert Downey Jr., it became the turning point. He made a choice. Not some dramatic overnight miracle, but a slow, painful decision to rebuild his life. Rehab became serious. Recovery became real. Step by step, day by day, and his inner circle, especially Susan Downey, became his strongest support system. This wasn't just a fight against addiction, it was a fight for survival, for identity, for redemption. Then came 2008, a decision that changed everything. Marvel Studios was preparing what felt like a risky project, a relatively unknown comic book character, Iron Man. But casting the lead role, that was complicated. Because Robert Downey Jr.'s past still haunted his reputation. Insurance companies were hesitant, executives were uncertain. The risk was massive. But director Jon Favreau believed in him. He pushed hard. He insisted Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. And history proved him absolutely right. Iron Man was released. The result? Explosive success. Robert Downey Jr. didn't just come back to Hollywood, he dominated it. His wit, charm, confidence, and energy perfectly defined Tony Stark. Audiences didn't just see a superhero, they witnessed redemption. What followed was unprecedented. The Marvel Cinematic Universe exploded globally. Avengers, record-breaking films, massive success. Robert Downey Jr. became one of the highest-paid actors in the world. But the most incredible part? This wasn't just a rise, it was a comeback. Think about that. A man once labeled unhireable became the face of a multi-billion-dollar franchise. That's not luck. That's resilience. Robert Downey Jr.'s story teaches us something powerful. Talent matters, but resilience? That's everything. Mistakes don't define a person. What truly defines them is whether they rise after they fall. Failure isn't falling down. Failure is staying down. Today, Robert Downey Jr. is more than just an actor. He's a symbol of second chances, of reinvention, of persistence. Because real superheroes don't just exist in movies. They exist in real life.